Okay, dear Oscars, hotel employees, a well-being session in lockdown for you guys. A little bit about myself. I've danced through quite an eclectic mix of decades. I'm 37. Uh, I've been a professional bodyboarder catching the largest waves in the world. And then I've also worked for 8 years for a not-for-profit called AIM, just like my hat says. And we've worked with 25,000 minority young people, offering them mentoring to create educational equity. You guys are in a difficult position, as are many people in the world today. I've devised kind of a series of comments and conversations and experiences that may support that difficult period in lockdown or in your respective restrictions that you're experiencing across Australia. You're passionate and incredibly thoughtful and energetic HR managers, Emily and Chantel, have commissioned me to do a small piece on well-being that may serve as something helpful for you guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few comments and tell a story. Then I'm going to throw to a great friend of mine who I spent time going through uni with, who's developed some skills in meditation, stillness, and health more broadly. And she's going to walk through roughly a 14-minute session with you guys, which is I've done, and it's a great experience. It's something really worth doing, even if you only feel certain moments of it. Well worth spending 15 minutes just to let that go across your laptop and see what it means to you. With different times requires different adaptations. My personal story with lockdown is that I was a recruiter that would go and find either volunteer mentors, staff, or other contributors to the not-for-profit I work for. I was traveling every month or two to a different location in Australia or around the world. And you can imagine that would have been, with two kids at home, it's a wonderful relief to go flying, meeting new people, and staying in a hotel room. So for me to adapt to being on a laptop in my garage, all my working life now for the last 18 months, it's a big adjustment. However, some reflections that have been helpful for me are that an attempt to switch from a negative lens to a positive lens is obviously what we're looking to do, and I would encourage you to find any way you can to do that. The way that I've been able to do that is just move my body before 8 or 9 a.m. before the day kicks off, and that's for me running along a beach with my kids in the pram or up a mountain or whatever it is for you. That would be something that I would recommend. Also, not drinking alcohol has been really important for me to stabilize my mood. Not recommending that you have to do any of those, but they're just helpful tips that have worked for me. Also, seeing the opportunity to develop your career in this period rather than putting your career on standstill is also a helpful tip. So, for example, I've been able to reach 48 different countries with AIM over the last 18 months, as opposed to the 6 countries we were in prior to 2020. And that's all come from the ability to diversify my communications through LinkedIn, Zoom, and a few other bits of software. Not pretending that that's how you guys can do things in your own roles, but just don't be scared to look outside the box and find new ways to capture your career ideas and put them in motion within the current restrictions. So my mental health has been a big aspect of my life. I've got obsessive compulsive disorder, and I have suffered badly from that for 20 years, since I was 19. Really since I was 14. But what obsessive compulsive disorder does in my life is that I have a thought, and it's a tremendous intrusive thought, which spikes a tremendous anxiety. So it may be that I just ran over a person on the highway when I just went over a small bump of tar, for example. And the compulsion says that I have to go and check that it wasn't a person. And then I am stuck in this um, terrible roundabout merry-go-round of having to go check the road and then feeling like I didn't check it properly and having to go back. And so that's just one very physical example of how OCD can manifest. So you can imagine if that happened in just a mental scheme. So you felt like you said something wrong in a conversation, you feel like the world's over, and you have to fix that. You go through mental thought checking when your anxiety levels skyrocketing, and you have to somehow compulsively check that. It happens with lots of different important aspects of your life, lots of embarrassing aspects, because OCD patients actually have an awareness that what they're doing is irrational, but also have the severe compulsion to do it. So that's been something that has been super challenging for me in lockdown and throughout my whole life. Some ways to mitigate that, um, I suppose, is the observation of these intrusive thoughts, and this can work for an OCD sufferer or not. Having thoughts, being able to distance yourself from those thoughts and feelings, and observe thoughts and feelings from a distance. So that leads me into the comments and activity I might just quickly do before I pass you over to Emma. This activity requires you to do nothing other than to observe thoughts and feelings. This will ground you, help you to be more present and less swept up by the thought processes and the feelings which dominate our life, sometimes against our will. So it's the idea of using your brain rather than your brain using you. So this activity, I'd encourage you to close your eyes, and any feeling that comes across your body, it could be a feeling like this guy's talking shit. It could be a thought like that, or it could be a feeling of restlessness or hunger or just general anxiety or dullness. Whatever that feeling is or thought is, attempt to observe it from a distance, just curiously. And look at it as if it might not be your thought or feeling, which is a funny thing. Maybe it might help if you imagine you're maybe a drone looking down at this person that is you, looking down at those feelings that person's experiencing. And whatever the thought or feeling is, and it might be multiple, it might be confusing, you might not know what it is, but just whatever it is, it might just be you might be able to just picture the feeling as a kind of a cloud or a fuzz, whatever. Do your best to observe it, but not judge it, which is the key crux of this activity. Try not to judge it as being good, bad, or otherwise, uncomfortable or comfortable, whatever it is. You're purely looking at it like you would look at a tree or the ocean. That thought or feeling now has some distance from you. You become able to distinguish your day and your identity away from your current thoughts and feelings, and then decide in which ones you'd like to entertain or not. If this technique has worked in any way, shape, or form for you, feel free to use it during times of crises, in terms of mental crises throughout lockdown, or even just when you have spare time, or when you go for a sit at the beach, or when you sit at a park, or at home in your lounge. I'm going to pass you over to Emma now. It's fantastic to connect with you guys via this method, and big credit to the Oscars team that are doing their best for their employees during this time, and happy to touch base at any point after this. And lots of love and light to the crew on the other side, and I'll pass you to Emma.
Hi guys, my name's Emma Krause and I'm from the Health Coach Approach Holistic Health and Wellness business. And I'm going to run you through a mindfulness body scan today, as well as a check-in activity to support our well-being and our mental health. So with you, I suggest that you have a pen and something to write on. So wherever you are, you're finding a comfortable position. And that means you're sitting up tall, lengthening through the spine, and feeling as if you're sitting up with energy coming out the crown of your head. So right at the top of the head, you're lifting up from here, lifting up through the hips. Glide the chin back slightly and allow the shoulders to relax. So you might like to roll through the shoulders, rolling them up towards the ears and just allowing them to gently fall down the back. Allowing the arms to be nice and relaxed by your sides. And just taking a moment to feel the body against the ground, against your chair, where your legs are in contact with the chair, where your back may be in contact with the chair that you are sitting in. And notice how your feet are in contact with the earth beneath you as well. And just noticing where the body is in contact with the chair and the earth. And from this supported position, perhaps grow a little taller out of this supportive base. Find a little bit more length and space in the spine and the shoulders and even the neck. Find any last movements, perhaps flexing the fingers and then just letting them be soft. Any last movements in the spine that feel good, just to relax and release some tension that's built up throughout our day. And from this stable, supported, uplifted position, if you feel comfortable, you can close down the eyes or just having a soft gaze in front of you. And from this stillness, see if you can notice, turn your attention to your breath. Perhaps noticing as it enters through the nose. And perhaps noticing as it releases back out the nose, feeling the breath leave through the nostrils. Perhaps you feel it more so in your belly or your chest. Even placing your hands on your belly. As you feel and observe the breath, expand the body as you breathe in. And perhaps as the body falls and contracts as you exhale. Just noticing the breath for the next few moments. And if your mind is wandering, thinking of thoughts, you might like to visualize these thoughts as clouds in the sky. And allow these thought clouds to just drift past a bright blue sky. So allowing them to drift and float across your mind. And just allowing them to come and go as you return your attention back to your breath, back to that movement, those sensations in the nose or in the belly. And we're just going to travel our attention throughout the whole body, starting at the head, starting at the top of the head, and just noticing any areas of tension, of tightness, perhaps in the skull, around the base of the head, the neck, the temples, the forehead. Just noticing and observing what you find, perhaps in the face. There's muscles being held, they're tight and tense. Just observing these areas. And observing any areas that have space, that have a sense of openness and relaxation. Let's travel down the neck, the throat, down into the shoulders, down into the arms, the elbows, the forearms and the hands and fingers. Just observing any areas of tension, observing any areas of openness. Let's travel down the back, from the upper back, mid back, along the spine, down into the base of the spine and the lower back. Now traveling down the front of the body, from the chest, the lungs, down into the belly and all the internal organs, down into the hips, to the upper legs, to the knees, the lower legs, down into the ankles, the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, and out the toes. Now observe your whole body as one, breathing any areas of tension and openness in the whole body, expanding your attention from your toes to the top of your head. And just knowing with this awareness, with this careful, mindful attention, you've brought yourself into the present moment. You've deepened your connection. Bringing a sense of calm and peace to your day that ripples out into the rest of your week. Drawing a deep breath in through the nose, filling up your lungs, filling up your whole body, holding at the top for a moment, then exhaling either out the nose or out the mouth with a sigh. Let's take 2 more in just like that. Inhale, deep breath in, and exhale, let it go. 1 more in your own time. Enjoy the sensation of breath and just breathing. Enjoy the sensation of exhaling, letting it go. When you're ready, just opening the eyes and staying with this sense of inwardness and introspection for a moment. With your paper and pen, can you please write body? And we're going to check in with our body and give it a rating out of 10. So 10 is it feels your body is energized, but it has a sense of calm. There's no pain at all. But a 0 down the other end is you might be in a lot of pain. Your body might be feeling very tired. So 10 is it's amazing, 0 is awful. Give your body a rating out of 10 now, without judgment. It's with pure observation. And now let's do the same for our minds. 10 is your mind is feeling vital. It's feeling awake. It has a sense of clarity and clearness, decisiveness, but calm. Now 0, it's feeling scattered, frantic, or perhaps really lethargic, foggy. So 10, clear, clarity, energized mind. 0, down that other end of the scale. So check in for a moment where you are on that scale for your mental aspect. And again, no judgment. This is just observing, just as you are in this moment. And with these scores, I would like you to choose the one that needs more attention. So whether this is your body or if this is your mind, what needs more self-care for today? And if it's your body, think about if you need a little bit more sleep, if you need to go to bed earlier, or maybe you need to move more. Maybe you need to go for a walk this evening or a walk tomorrow morning. Maybe you need to do some stretching. Or if it's your mental health, maybe you need to clear your to-do list. Maybe you need to scale down or say no to something. Maybe you need to uplift your mind, maybe read some positive, inspirational content. Maybe you need to bring some more mindfulness in. Find something that you know is going to support either your body or your mind, whatever needs more. And write that down, what you're going to do. It could just be super simple. A little moment of being outside in nature. Whatever it is, write it down now. Keep it short, keep it simple. Keep it very achievable, something that you can do either today or tomorrow to support either your body or your mind, but that's going to give us an overall sense of well-being. And share it with someone, share it with a colleague, maybe keep each other accountable as well, just for that little extra bit of support and motivation to really care for our bodies and our minds and our overall sense of health and well-being. So I hope you've enjoyed this mindfulness body scan and mindful check-in. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, or if you would like any further information from my offerings, I do a lot with individuals, groups, workplaces, children's schools, you name it. I'm there for that wellness aspect. So follow up, of course, if you have any questions, comments, or further concerns. And have a beautiful day and look after yourself. Thanks.